Welcome to Stories from My Life, but also notice where I am. I'm in White Salmon, Washington, visiting my daughter, her husband, and my three grandchildren. Uh, she lives in a beautiful house overlooking. This is the Columbia River over my shoulder, called the Columbia River Gorge. You can't see it, but in that direction is Mount Hood. Uh, he lives at the top of this mountain, and it's just it's gorgeous. We're having a fabulous time skiing on Mount Hood, watching my granddaughter play basketball, and just been a great week. But I wanted to continue my series uh, and pick up where I left off in my stories. Last time we talked about the March in Washington and how I be careful of what you visualize. I feel like I had this neon uh, cosmic sign over my head that I wanted to go into the White House to speak to President Nixon. So if you didn't hear that story, that was the last one. I want to pick up Dr. Dan Berrigan. Father Dan Berrigan was my mentor at Cornell. He was behind the March in Washington and also brought to campus, to Cornell University, a speaker for the interreligious department called Swami Satchidananda. Swami Satchidananda will go on to become famous. He is the Swami on the Woodstock album, From His Back, overlooking 400,000 people. But before Woodstock, in that which was August of 1969, in the spring, I was dating Susan, and he came to visit to give a talk at Cornell, invited by Father Dan Berrigan. And Susan, we were dating. Susan thought it would be a good idea if we went and listened to this lecture. Now, that is probably at the time one of the last things that you would have expected me to do. I was in engineering and business, a Swami. To be perfectly honest, it was to make my girlfriend happy. I thought if she wanted to go, of course, I liked her. I went with her. So we went, and it changed my life. You never know when, in a moment of inspiration. I talked about it in the yoga videos, teachings from yoga, the word darshan, which I translate as contact high, to really be inspired, changed by the presence of someone that perhaps catches you by surprise, going in a totally different direction than I was headed in at the time. Here was a man in a white beard looking weird, sitting there talking about yoga and meditation, which I had never even heard of. And it seemed magical to me. It seemed practical to me that what he was teaching, I was learning in engineering how to make machines function well. Here he was teaching how to make this machine function well through yoga. And in business, I was learning how to make good decisions, and he was teaching us how in meditation it brings clarity and better decision making. And I was enthralled. And I said to Susan, I have to have what he's got. But there was no yoga in the United States. We would have to have gone to India. And I said I was going to go. The wisdom that I felt emanated from this man, the practical teachings. It wasn't Hinduism. It wasn't esoteric mysticism. It wasn't magical crystals. It was real. You all know I've been teaching yoga for over 4 years. It was that lecture, that moment in my life took a turn I feel blessed by to this day. There will be more stories about Swami Satchidananda, but know that just meeting him was enough to change my life. When you meet people that inspire you, let them change yours too. You can do it. You don't have to stay in the same rut. Go off in a new direction. Be inspired. From White Salmon, Washington. Have a great day. Blessings to all.